Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle Channel, and today we've got a lovely Irish tune, Inisheer. Inisheer was a request from one of my supporters on Patreon, and this is an absolutely beautiful tune. You might think of it as a slow waltz or as an air. It was written by Thomas Walsh, about whom I'm afraid I know nothing. But the island of Inisheer is off the west coast of Ireland. It's the smallest of the Aran Islands, and I like to think of it as being somewhat like Craggy Island, where home of Father Ted. So this is a very emotional type of tune and is very popular in sessions, and I hope you'll see why it's such a lovely tune. I'll show you the basic melody, I'll look at some ornaments and a few possible double stops to help support the chords. Okay, so first, basic melody. 1, 2, 3. So that's the basic melody. Ornaments you might add. So that is a cut or a single cut. So you're adding that note as a grace note, and you're slurring into the melody note. Here's a hammer on, so you're starting off that's your melody note, you're starting off with an open A. And as soon as your bow hits the string, then you add the first finger. So there you could add a double cut, a third finger, first finger before the A note. Now there, I think it's nice to do a slide up to the F sharp. Hammer on. Maybe a G drone there. And a third finger, first finger flick before the A. Let's do all of that with the ornaments and with the backing. notice my very sparse use of vibrato. Normally in Irish music you do no vibrato at all, or most people do. But with the slower the tune gets, the more tempting it is to do some vibrato. So it's just a few of the longer notes where there's room for vibrato, and providing it's not too intense and not too classical sounding, I think that would be quite nice. Having said that, Karen Ryan, who is the Irish fiddler I've listened to most, she plays even the slowest of airs with no vibrato whatsoever, and it sounds perfectly beautiful when she does it. Okay, so now finally, the chords on this, I suspect the tune was written without chords. I could be wrong, but to me, the opening phrase suggests that there's going to be a G chord followed by a different chord, and this is the second chord. It could be a G down to an E minor, or it could be a G to a G over an F sharp, which I think will be my preference. And depending on what accompanist you're going to have, if you're going to have an accompanist, these chords might be different, but I think it's quite nice to do. So we've got that line, which you can actually play yourself. You definitely don't have to, but I think that helps. And then so that is definitely not an Irish traditional approach, but let's say you were introducing this to some people for the first time, to other musicians, and you wanted to kind of indicate what chords you wanted. That would be a good way to do it. Or if you're playing it solo and you were really missing the feel of the accompanist, then that again would help. Or you might leave all those drones and double stops out completely. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you would like a copy of the sheet music, do subscribe to the channel, send me an email, and all of my PDFs are available on my Patreon page, and it's the Patreon that keeps these videos coming. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.